Welcome to the latest edition of the Hudson County Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Jim Haig, and once again, the Hudson County Sports Podcast is brought to you by Stansport Center, located at 528 Washington Street in Hoboken. Telephone number there is 201-798-4466, and we'll mention more about Stan Sports Center later in the podcast. But I want to introduce my special guest today. Is a guy who had a great high school football career at Ferris High School. He then went on to play at Rutgers, where they were a very good and exciting football team to watch back in his heyday when he played at Rutgers. Back with the days of Ray Lucas and Alan Andrews and Marco Battaglia was one of his teammates, and Terrell Willis, and who name it. They had a bunch of great football players back in his days. Well, he was a starting quarterback at Rutgers. He then came back home and became a coach here in his native Jersey City. And then later on, where he now remains as the athletic director at Lincoln High School. And it's my friend Keith Price. Keith, how you doing today, buddy?
Hey, Jim. Nice talking to you today.
Nice having you as my guest. So, all right, let's turn the clock back a little bit. And for you, it's not that far back, but we're going to turn the clock back to when you were a youngster. And where did you grow up in Jersey City?
I was born 91 Bright Street downtown, and then from there, my family moved. Well, my grandmother moved back to Charleston, South Carolina. I started school down there, kindergarten and first grade.
Is that true? Really? You in Charleston, South Carolina? Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And after first grade, I came back up to Jersey City, and we were living in Arlington Gardens.
Okay. And what was that like as a little kid growing up in the Gardens then? What was that like?
It was great. It was great. You know, we had guys right there who were Miles Dixon from St. Anthony's, Brian Grant, Yancey Smith, Ernest Ishman, Terry DeHare,
wow.
Georgie. As I got older, Rashawn McLeod lived down the street. It was a great place to play. Had to grow up as a kid.
Okay. And were you like a absolute typical Jersey City kid, and you played all three sports? Did you play, football in the fall, basketball in the winter, and baseball in the spring?
Yes, around that clock, that's what we did.
Okay.
The season was, we were playing.
Okay. And did you? What was the first sport you played as a kid?
First organized sport was football.
Okay.
Because I used to go down south every summer, and then when I come back in August, one year I was about 11. I saw the guys with football equipment. I just got really excited. I was like, hey, when you guys get this equipment, I want to play. And there's an open playing for the PAL, the Jersey Jets. I'm like, I want to play. But by the time I came back, it was too late. And I begged my parents. My mother said, all right, next year. So when I hit 12, I joined the PAL Jets.
Wow, okay. And I would imagine with your speed, you must have been a running back right away.
First practice, where the coach was like, okay, we got to see who's the fastest kid. So I'm going to play running back. I want to play receiver.
Okay.
I was a big fan of Lynn Swan growing up.
All right.
So coach was like, all right, I'll line you guys up. First guy to it was a pole or whatever, down and back. And I said, hey, I want to be a running back. So I just took off. And by the time I hit the pole, I was coming back. Guys were just getting to the pole. The coach was like, nah, you're not a receiver, you're a tailback. Okay.
Okay. And did you mind that at all when you were playing for the Jersey City Jets?
No, because I realized we weren't going to go to that much.
Okay.
I was very excited.
And did you get the ball a lot?
Yeah. The first game.
Who was the coach of the Jets back then?
Oh gosh, I forgot. Honestly, Jim, I forgot his name. Was too rough. I know one might have been a firefighter in Jersey City.
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot his name.
That's okay. All right. And where did you go to grammar school? What's grammar school?
When I returned from South Carolina, I was at PS12 for 4 years. Then they had the rezoning of the districts, and then I went to PS22 for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
Oh, okay. 22 is a great athletic school, boy. Great. There are a lot of great athletes that come out of 22, right?
Oh yeah, I was there with some of them.
Yep. Okay. All right. So, and you mentioned a few of them in talking about Arlington Gardens. I would imagine, right? Was Jerry Walker and you together in school then? He went to 22, right?
Yeah, Jerry Walker was there. Myron Ferris was
Yep.
there. One of my close friends to this day, Andre Cradle, was there.
Okay.
Kind of funny. I met Dave Llewellyn playing for the PBL Jets.
He was first supposed to be a great football player because his father was an incredible football player. So, so he was first supposed to be a football player, and then he became a basketball player somehow. But he was first supposed to be a football player. So, all right. So did you play basketball too, Keith?
I did. I played a little at the boys club, with the guys. It was a lot of fun. I think the boys club at that period of time. I joined when it was on Canal Street.
Wow, now it's going back.
Yeah, that was 1984. I joined them after the football season was over.
Okay.
And the talent coming through there at that time, those guys were they knew the game. I was just playing the game.
Yeah.
Whereas football, I knew the game. It was just vice versa.
Okay.
I enjoyed it.
Okay. And did you play organized basketball at all for like PS22? Did you play on any of those teams or no?
Oh, no, those teams are so loaded.
All right. Okay. All right. And then baseball. Did you ever play organized baseball?
I did 2 years for Martini Cleaners out of the Jersey City Boys Club.
Okay. And after that, was baseball just a little bit too slow for you that you couldn't play it anymore?
No, you know what, Jim? If I would have applied myself to baseball and basketball, I probably could have been a better player. But you know what? Football just came so natural.
Yep.
It was just like, boom, here it is. Where I watched some guys that I grew up with playing basketball and how easy it came to them.
Yep. Especially downtown, there's no question. So.
Oh yeah.
All right. So was there any doubt in your mind that you were going to go to Ferris when the time came? I mean, was that or was that always going to be the place?
You know what? Honestly, yes. Because growing up on 91 White Street, I used to always be downtown a lot. I was downtown. I was in the Booker T projects with friends, family, and as a kid growing up down there, even though the Arlington Gardens, I spent a lot of time downtown going to Ferris. I didn't know anything about the records of the team, football team, and all that other stuff. All I know, I wanted to go to Ferris.
Okay.
And in 8th grade, Jeff Weiner came to PS22, was talking to kids. Hey, I'm Jeff Weiner, head coach of Lincoln High School football team. Trying to see what's 8th grade play football here. I hear some kids too that play football here. And people like, oh yeah, Keith. And the guy said, oh, Keith Rice. And I said, yes, sir. He said, so if you come to Lincoln, I looked at it. I was like, nope. He looked at me, oh, Will. He was like, what do you mean? Where you going? I said, Ferris. He said, you sure about that? I said, yes. He said, I don't know, Ferris. It's, they're okay, but we're better. I said, that's okay.
Yep.
And I chose to go to Ferris instead.
Okay. And was Harry Lerner your coach throughout for all 4 years, or did you play for anybody else?
My first year, Rick Johnson was the coach, head varsity coach at Ferris, and then that staff was replaced by Coach Lerner in '87. I was a sophomore.
You're a sophomore, okay. And what was that? That was an incredible coaching staff. I mean, you had top to bottom. There were people like, Van McCullers and Alex Franklin, and of course Harry leading the way, and his brother Michael was part of the team too. Joe Marcello was an assistant too, right? Yeah. Okay, if I forgot his name, he would have hung me up to dry in this little podcast. If he listened to it and didn't hear his name, Joe would have really he would have let me loose. So, but anyway, that was a great coaching staff, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. We had Gary DiNapoli, brother, on the staff, and it was great. We had the year before they got there, I think Ferris won 1 or 2 games. I remember as president. There's like 18 of us. We was like, look, man, we gonna play varsity next year. We can't win just 2 games. That's unheard of.
Right.
You know, and when Harry and them came around, changed around, so we had some great guys up front. Like one of the best backs to come out from Hudson County, Sharif Dasher.
Yeah, boy. He was as good as it got, boy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, as a freshman, I was looking at him. I was like, I want to be like that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just so smooth as a running back. It was just ridiculous.
He was very, very good, you know. And then after Sharif graduated, the litany of tailbacks continued, right? What?
Yeah. It's funny that you say that. You know, I've heard of guys like Aaron Manning, guys before us. Then we started to see Anthony Clutch Green, then it was Sharif Dasher, and then all of a sudden we get a kid dropping our lap from Florida by the name of Calvin Johnson.
Oh boy.
And that guy, I can tell you, we go to football camp. I'm in the backfield with myself, Ryan Tucker, Bobby Green at the time. So we had a scrimmage up there. Calvin was just playing tailback. And Bobby Meyer threw him a pass, and Jim, the guy made moves and cuts. Everybody just looked at each other. Where's this guy coming from?
Yep.
And then go back to the huddle. Harry the staff must have had a short conversation. He looks at me, he looks at Calvin, and said, "Keep good receiver."
Yeah.
Receiver.
Right away.
Right away. He said, "Yeah, go to receiver." Looked at Calvin. I said, "Coach, I'm running back." He said, "Did you do what he just did?" I looked at Calvin. He said, "All right, I'm going to receiver."
He was special, Calvin Johnson. Special, right? And didn't he at first go to Kansas?
Yes, Calvin. We were in college. So he left after our senior year. He went back home to Florida. He went to a JUCO in Kansas. I think it's Coffeyville.
Okay.
He was doing very well because I think my sophomore year, one of the running backs coach came up to me and said, "Hey, King, you know, there's a kid from Jersey City, from Ferris High School, is in Kansas doing a good job. I'm thinking about recruiting him." I was like, "Who are you talking about?" He said, "Calvin." I was like, "Oh, this is before internet and cell phones and all of that."
Sure.
I was like, "Yeah, that's my guy, coach. He's this, and that." And then I think he decided to just go back home, go to school out in Florida.
Okay. We lost touch after he left high school. I didn't know where he ended up going, and that was that. And then after you left, Ferris had another great back, and that was Lamont Jeter.
Oh yeah. I mean, just another back. He was another one, just natural.
Yep.
He was just a natural athlete. I bet if he played baseball, he was an all-county baseball player.
Yep. But boy, oh boy, could he run! He could run and run with the football. So, all right. But how much pride did you have in being part of that Ferris football program that totally turned the tides? Like you said, they won one game the year before you got to become on the varsity, and then all of a sudden, you know, by the time you were a junior and senior, you went to the state playoffs both times, and you won the city championship. So how wild was that to be able to turn that tide totally around and turn Ferris from being a losing program to a winning program and a champion?
Well, you know, I take a lot of pride in that because, you know, like I said, we were like, look, man, we had a lot of talent with that freshman team. So we had, on a varsity level, we could be winners. And my sophomore year, we won 5 games. Or something with someone said, you know, it's the first time Ferris won 5 games in over 30, 40 years of the season. My junior year, which I honestly say was my best team, we went 4-4-1. We tied with Emerson, and we lost by 1 point to Hoboken and Union Hill.
Okay.
And that was by far the most talented team I had at Ferris. And then my senior year, we went 7-3.
Right. And you went to the state playoffs that year.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you had the misfortune of running into a pretty big running back by the name of Ironhead Hayward, right?
Well, no, he was the year before, but I tell you what.
Oh, okay.
I tell you what, Jim, they had people call him baby Ironheads because I tell you what, he and the visiting team's on the far end, the home team is by the stands.
Right.
So we threw the coin flip, I walk out there, I'm like, these guys are huge. So after the game, my brother said to me, hey, who went out for the coin toss? I said it was me. He's like, wow, we couldn't even see you. It was two of them and just me. They're like, dude, we couldn't even see you. Trust me.
They were big. I thought you lost to Ironhead because Ironhead demolished Hudson County for 4 straight years, and you name it, whoever he played against in the counties. He beat Hoboken when they had Dwayne Peterson, and he beat I'm trying to think of North Bergen, and then I thought he was also he beat Ferris too as well. So, but I remember every year in the state playoffs. He beat a Hudson County team, so I thought it was you guys. But that was your senior year. You made the state playoffs, and that was the first time ever Ferris went to the state playoffs. Correct?
Yeah. You didn't really know much about the history of the athletes, with football, but when they told us how during the week of practice, you guys the first 50 years or something like that, I was like, okay, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and win. Unfortunately, the closest we got to the end zone was the opening kickoff. I got it to the 15.
And that was it.
Yeah, that was about it.
Yeah.
It was just.
But still, you won the city championship again.
Yes.
All right, you got jackets for being the city champions, which I know Coach Lerner took a lot of pride in. He used to wear that gold jacket all over the place, but more importantly, you went to the state playoffs for the first time ever for Ferris High School. They never went to the states before, and that was just a huge step. No?
Yes, absolutely. Because we wanted to set a precedent. Like, hey, look, let's just continue to get this ball rolling, continue to keep it rolling, and hopefully someone will put a trophy in the trophy case. Okay.
All right. So when did the recruitment start? And mind you too, was there any deterrent at all that you were not the biggest guy in the world? I mean, and I don't know what you were listed at. I'm going to say what, 5'9" and 165 pounds, probably soaking wet. Right? Is that pretty close?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, my first letter, honestly, I got end of my sophomore year. I got it from Montclair State.
Okay.
And I was happy because I didn't really know what recruiting was about. So for someone to show interest to me, I was, hey, Mom, Dad, look at this, Coach Lonnie. He's like, he said, that's good. He said, but after my sophomore year, he told me, he said, look, son, I see a lot of talent in you. If you work at it, you might be able to go to school for free. And I looked at it, and I was like, really? I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then after my junior year of Laurel County, and that's when the letters and stuff started to come in.
Okay.
And I was like, wow, this is how it is, West Virginia, Syracuse, Ohio State, Boston College was my favorite. SMU.
Wow.
I was just happy to get maybe someone sees something in me.
Okay. Now, at that point too, you knew that your future was as a defensive back and not as a wide receiver, correct?
Yes. Boston College said maybe a receiver, but I wanted to play defensive back.
Okay. Well, Kansas wanted you as a defensive back too, or a wide receiver?
Yes, a defensive back.
Okay. All right. What was it about playing defense that you liked better than, say, being an offensive player?
I think the opportunity I just like the physicality of the sport.
Okay.
The tackling and trying to demoralize the man because I know he's trying to do his thing. So
okay.
That was what made me want to play defense. I just enjoyed it a little bit more.
Okay. And did you take pride in being a great cover corner? Like if somebody was going to throw the ball, you were not going to let them get it, were you?
Oh no, because I think my junior year, Coach Marcella came up to me and said, "Look, we play all man to man. You're going to play the team's best defensive player. Best receiver." I was like, "Okay, whatever side he's on, you would be on." And that's what I did. And I took that same thing to college, but college is a lot different, but I still took pride in what I did when I got on the field.
Okay. All right. So, in the recruiting process, did you get a chance to narrow it down where you wanted to go? And how in the world did Rutgers all of a sudden jump to the front of the page?
I tell you what, if recruiting would have came earlier, I was signed, sealed, and delivered to go to Boston College.
Okay.
But when I used to watch them on TV with Troy Stratford, Flutie, Boyd, the defense, all of that, and I went up there as a junior, for junior day, walked on the campus, Coach McDowell, and my family really enjoyed it. I thought, oh man, I'm gonna go ahead. My parents were like, just wait, you'll be a junior. Something else might come about. I was like, okay. And then Rutgers honestly came into the picture late. Of course, but I'm tell you, I'm being recruited. This is the money thing.
Good.
Of course, everybody was coming in to see Cal.
Yep.
Of course. So, I'm doing well. I'm doing well also. So coach from Boston College came in. I got Ray something. He came in talking. He said, Keith, we came in to see Calvin and we see you. I think that was a Union Hill game. I had 2 picks. Took one to the house. I had a bunch of catches. Played a decent game. People to play the game, whatever. But they said, we see you. We would like you to come to BC.
Was that the week that you were named the Hudson Dispatch athlete of the week? Was that the week?
So.
Well, okay. A really good-looking guy wrote that article about you back then, right? Yeah.
So, honestly, that was the match, the flame that lit the fire. Because after speaking to him and getting that letter from him, and college coaches talking and converse, that's when the ball started rolling. When a lot of colleges started to contact Harry, give information, and send me information.
Yep.
And Rutgers didn't come into the picture my senior year. Harry says, what about, because my thing was like, get me out of New Jersey. I want to leave.
Okay.
He's like, okay. So Harry says to me, hey, what about Rutgers? And I was like, where's that, like Central Jersey somewhere? Because they used to be on TV once in a blue on Jefferson Pilot on Channel 7.
That's right. Very, very rare.
Very rare. And I would watch and see a couple of guys from there from Jersey City. Amos Harris, Derek Baker,
Yep.
Ron Bug, and come to find out, I didn't know Elnor Webster lived around the corner from his brand.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yes, neither did I. So Dick Anderson's staff was let go. Doug Graber came in.
Right.
I don't know what it was about Graves. I watched the press conference. I'm a 17-year-old kid. I watched the college press conference about this guy. And, the old mantra, hey, we can keep our guys here in New Jersey. Can you imagine what we can do here? And I looked at the screen, and I was like, I never heard that. I never heard someone say that.
Okay.
So.
And this is a guy who came from the NFL to coach at Rutgers, right? So that you must have been a little bit impressed with that. He came from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and came to coach at Rutgers. So go ahead.
Yeah, he coached the Bucs and the Chiefs. So
right.
I watched the press conference. So what he said, I had some books from colleges like Syracuse, Penn State, and Ohio State, West Virginia, and I'm looking at the roster. I'm seeing these guys from Jersey. I'm like, man, why didn't they go to Rutgers? And I didn't know about college tradition and what the schools provided as the atmosphere and the wins and the bowls. I was just getting out of Jersey City saying, hey, someone's gonna offer me money to go to school and play ball. I'm gonna listen.
Okay.
As I said, if I was more versed in the bowls and all that other stuff, the traditions at schools, maybe I may not have chose Rutgers. Who knows? But I have no regret.
Okay.
But, Rutgers came from my home. Coach Gray, Coach Scott, and Coach T, we were talking. I was like, yeah, I'm not a West. I'm like, yeah, I know the name. They said he lives around here. And I'm like, no, you don't. I don't see him. And they said, yes, they do. They said, right down the street on Randolph. I said, Coach, you can't be joking. And now this guy, I think this is the first time that you're in the city. We walk out of our building, real Randolph. We go to the corner of Ram Hall and Randolph Avenue. He pointed to this nice big house up the street. He said, see that house right there? I said, yeah. He said, that's well known in Western Junior. I said, how do you know? He said, I did research. I was okay. And I just started, went down there on that recruiting trip, met became one of my closest friends, Malik Jackson from Elizabeth.
Oh, what a player! What a player!
Oh yeah, he was there. I believe Jay Bellamy was on that same crew.
Wow. Okay.
And I went to Boston College on a trip. I went to Kansas. Kansas, I tell you what, that campus is beautiful.
Yeah, huh?
And this is 1980. I'm saying, they said it was the year after they won the title, Danny Manning. They said, oh, you should have been here. The campus was going crazy. And it was nice.
Okay. So then, what was the turning point? What made you want to go to Rutgers?
When I flew out to Kansas, I was talking about. I mean, I enjoyed it. There was wonderful campus, playing whole field house, the basketball, the stadium, the dorms, all that stuff. And I thought to myself, okay, Keith, you come all the way out here. I'm a big family man, like a lot of other people. I said, how often will my family get to see me? I had two younger brothers, 7 and 9 years older, younger than me. How are they going to get out of here? How many times am I going to go home?
Very rarely.
Very rarely. I said, okay, Boston College, 4 hours away.
Mm-hmm.
Great tradition. I'm a big fan. And then I said, or I could stay home and make something happen here. And then I remember talking with Malik and seeing something in the paper. He chose there. A couple of the guys said, all right, let's make this go. Let's take this right now.
Okay.
And I went to Coach Lerner. I said, Coach Lerner, I'm thinking about really want to stay home. I want to turn this around. I want to help. I want to watch my family, come watch me play in person, friends, and things like that. And like I said, I have no regrets.
Okay. Well, you shouldn't. Okay, because you get the Rutgers. Now, mind you, too, Keith. Were you ever at all? Did you ever use your size as being? Was it ever used against you as an obstacle? Like, did anybody ever say, "God, you can't play because you're 5'9", 165"? And did you use that as a motivation to become even a better player because you knew fully well that you knew you could play? So, to talk a little bit about whether or not your size was used against you, and did you use it as a motivation?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was used against me. I played with the ability and size that God gave me, and everybody else will look at it as an issue, but I didn't. There were some schools that we like him, but he's on the small side, looking for corners. That's going to be at least 5'11", and because of the scheme that they ran at this school, and maybe I wasn't fast enough or whatever. So I just said, okay, cool. If I play against this school that's not recruiting, that we're playing, and they turn me down, I'm gonna show them that I can play.
Okay. And was it a motivation in your mind, like saying, okay, I mean, I'm going to make sure that I can play regardless of what people might think of me because I'm small?
Oh yeah, I had to. I didn't have a Napoleon complex like always say, well, I'm small, but
Right.
you know what? I have to, just go out there and work as hard. Did it play effect? And sometimes my play on the field might have gotten out jumped once or twice. Yeah, probably.
Okay.
And then there were times people didn't believe I could jump as high or whatever. I would make a play on the wall, and they look at me and I just look at them and smile.
Okay. All right. So you get to Rutgers. You got Graber's. You were, as a matter of fact, you came in with Graber. Graber was his first year. Was your freshman year, correct?
Yes, it was.
All right. And what was that like? The transformation to watch Rutgers go from being a middle of the road team in Anderson's last couple of years to then all of a sudden you made a gradual increase in terms of how good the team and the program became in your tenure there. And talk a little bit about, like, what were you, I think, as a freshman, you guys were what, 3 and 6?
2 and 9.
2 and 9. Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
First game we beat Kentucky, Hudson County zone. Willie Wilkes had 2 picks, took one back to the house. We beat Kentucky.
Did we have to bring up Willie Wilkes' name and taking one back to the house? His head is big enough as it is. His interception return that when Prep beat North Bergen for the first time ever, his interception return is now legendary, so legendary that I think it's a 287-yard return for a touchdown.
Really? Well, I must admit, he's never told me that story.
Yeah, without question. Without question.
Yeah, but it was something because like I said, I really did like with Ferris. I didn't look at what happened in the past. All I know is I can only help control what I'm a part of right now.
Yeah. Okay.
And we went 2-9.
But you played right away. You got. Oh, you redshirted. Okay, I apologize. Go ahead.
No. I wasn't ready.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I remember going the first week of camp, I got in the stands. Defensive back coach, Coach Carson, looked at me and said, "Son, what the hell is that?" I said, "That's what stands, coach." He said, "No, it ain't. Not anymore."
Not anymore. Oh.
And I wound up redshirting, which was great. I wasn't ready. Then my redshirt freshman year, I was on the kickoff team. I was the nickel back, and I was second string behind Lonnie Allen and Robert Marshall.
Oh, okay.
And first game came against DC, and should have had a pick, but I was looking up the field twice and I had the ball.
Oh, okay.
And coach is like, coach, like, after the game, I had a good game. I had like 5, 6 tackles, a pass, defense. He had me laughing. He's like, oh, not that he wasn't laughing. He said, yeah, some people in here can like goddamn All-American if they know how to hang up the ball instead of looking at the end zone. All I could do is just put my head down. A couple of guys like glanced at me. I couldn't even lift my head.
Okay.
And we beat BC, and one of the guys that was recruiting me to BC, he looks at me and is like, "Really, Price?" I started laughing. It was good that year. If I'm not mistaken, that year we went 6-5.
Right.
First time Rutgers won 6-5. Got out.
Right. And was that with Ray as the quarterback?
No, the quarterback at the time was Tom Tarver.
Oh, Tom Tarver. Okay. All right.
And then that season, I wound up starting 5 games.
Oh, okay.
Which was, I hate to say that to my fire.
Yeah. Then.
Because you got to think about it. You go to Cable Point, you're lucky to have 100 people. My first real extensive playing time happened to be in Happy Valley. It's only 97.
No, only 97,000 people there. Yeah.
It's only 97,000.
And by the end of the first quarter, they all know you by your last name, so they're all screaming, prize, prize. Yeah, probably, right?
So, Buddy Allen was on kickoff. We're only down 10, 14-7. Ronnie Allen gets a kickoff. He's running. Boom, he gets blown up. He got taught with his knee. Graber looks at me and says, "Go in there, Price." I looked at him. My heart went from my chest to my stomach. I run out there. I line up at right corner. I'm out there. I look. I said, "Oh my God, that's Joe Paterno." I've never met the man.
Right.
So, people like Tony Sack was the quarterback. Of course, you see a freshman out there. I get in my stance. He walks to the line. He started his cadence. He looked to the left. He stepped back and started audible. He looked right at me, and the guy from Penn State said, "Stand back up, bro." Oh, boy, did he come at me.
Okay.
It was a learning experience. They caught a couple passes on me. I made a couple, deflections, some tackles. But that was my baptism by fire. And then after that, I started 5 games that year.
Okay. And then you never got taken out again, right?
Well, I wish I could say that.
Oh, tell me what happened.
Let me see. The year goes by, doing well, feeling great. Sophomore year comes by, vying for a starting spot, but didn't get it, which was okay. But I was still in the rotation. I was second string. I was the first nickel, playing kickoff, punt return. I wasn't returning the punts, but I was out there.
Right.
And doing well. Then my sophomore year, that's when the injury bug started hitting me.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. We're playing Syracuse up in the dome. Beautiful place to play. running down on the field on kickoff and playing against Quadri Ishmael, probably one of the fastest guys I've ever played against.
Okay.
And
he was the missile, not the Rocket.
Yes.
The Rocket played for Notre Dame. He was the missile, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So we running down on kickoff. I have the ankle on him. I'm tackling him, but someone falls into my leg, and I pull my leg out before going down, and I was out for a couple of weeks. The trainer showed me on film. He said, "Keith, if you didn't try to pull your leg out, you'd have been done. You'd have tore your whole knee up."
Oh God.
Yeah, so that was the beginning of the injury bug for me.
Okay.
And sat out a week and a half, came back, had my sophomore year, had 2 picks that year. We wound up going 7-4. Just like, okay, we're definitely going to a bowl. We have to go to a bowl. No, we didn't get picked for a bowl.
Wow.
And this is before the time you got all kinds of bowls.
Yep.
Like now you got about 6. You can be 4 and 7.
Absolutely, you could finish like sixth in the conference and have a 6-5 record, and you're going to a bowl because you're over 500, right? Yeah.
Yep.
But that 7-4 team was very good, right? Is that the team I was talking about with Ray was the quarterback? No.
Yeah, he was winning time with him. First Brian Forte, then Ray. Then Brian finished out. Ray finished out.
Ray finished out the season. And then you had Terrell Willis, and you had who was the running back 44? Bruce Presley, was that his name?
Yeah, Bruce Presley.
Bruce Presley. You had 2 great. Terrell Willis should have been in the NFL. There's no question he was an NFL player. You know.
Yes.
Yep.
Playing in the NFL.
Yep.
Of course, Malik Jackson probably had one of the best games in Rutgers history defensively against West Virginia.
Yep.
Excuse me, against Virginia Tech. That year we beat them 50-49 on the last play of the game,
right?
And Graves said it at the beginning of the game, or mid half. I'm like, I don't care if we beat them 50-49. We're going to win this game, and that's what happened.
Wow.
So that's
yeah. No, you were an exciting team that year. I covered a lot of those games, and it's a shame that you guys didn't go to a bowl because you definitely deserved it. There's no question.
We were all disappointed.
Yep.
So, junior year come in, figure we got all the pieces back. And I said, okay, I'm going to, stay up here, working hard. And then we wound up going 4-7. Not this time again.
Oh, man.
I got hurt. And, wound up going 4-7 that year.
Okay.
Which was very disappointing.
All right. Well, hold on for 1 second. We've got to pay the bills. And we'll be back with Keith Price in just 1 second. But first, Stansport Center is your local full-service sporting goods vendor and authorized team dealer. They offer quality products and dozens of brands to outfit your team top to bottom. Stans has proudly been supporting the local community since 1946 and is your one-stop shop for uniforms, equipment, online team stores, and much more. Locations in Hoboken and Saddlebrook and servicing the entire tri-state area. Visit them on the web at stansportsctr.com. That's stansportsctr.com. And check them out on social media for their latest creations. That's Stan's Sports Center located at 528 Washington Street in Hoboken. Telephone number there is 201-798-4466. Go down to say hello to my friends Todd and Danny and Louie. And if you go and mention the Hudson County Sports Podcast, you will get a 10% discount on all retail items in the store. That's not a bad deal. 10% off on anything that's retail in the store. All you have to do is go in and mention the Hudson County Sports Podcast, and you get 10% off. So not a bad deal. That's Stansport Center, located in Hoboken on Washington Street. Okay, we're talking to Keith Price, and he's talking about entering his senior year as a football player at Rutgers. And what happened your senior year?
Senior year comes about, I stayed up there that summer because, I say about the middle of my junior year, beginning of my junior year, I got hurt in practice a week before the first game. So I'm saying, my ankle, whatever. Played the first game, set out the second, came back against Penn State, played ESPN, have a great game. Guess West Virginia, Virginia Tech, I was just limping real bad. Being a defensive back, your feet is your money maker.
Right.
And I was still hurt. They took advantage of it, got a score. Then it revealed that I had a stress fracture on my right ankle. Okay, so what happens? I have to sit out the rest of the year. That spring, going into my senior year, I have to have surgery. I'm behind the 8 ball. Got a new defensive coordinator. I can't participate in spring ball. So I decided to stay at the school that summer, work hard, try to get back. And it was a rough summer. I had my grandfather passed away that summer. My aunt passed away. And going to the first game, I'm like, oh, I'm starting. Ravens like, Keith, I don't think we're not going to start you. And I looked at him, I was like, what are you talking about, coach? He said, mentally, you're not ready. And, of course, at 21, 22, I think I'm ready, but maybe he didn't see something I didn't see. We played, that was the year of the new stadium. So, that was 94. It was great. And then I found, well, I had a back problem from...
And 94, how many times did you play at Giant Stadium? None. Okay.
No, wait. One game, Penn State.
Okay, go ahead.
No, we played them at their place. 94. I don't think if it wasn't a big game, we played all our games at home.
Okay, all right.
We played all our games at home. And I had to sit out a couple of games because my back flared up. I had a hairline fracture. What do you call a Scotty bone fracture on my vertebrae on my back.
Wow.
Yeah, that was from when I was in Southport. Honestly, Jim, I could have packed it in and dealt in it like, I'm going to take a medical red shirt.
Okay.
You know, and give it up. But I love the sport so much, and I love being with my teammates. I just had to wear a brace every practice, every weightlifting session, certain exercise, weightlifting things I could not do because of my background.
Right. How were you able to play with it wearing a brace? That must have been brutal, no?
It wasn't the most comfortable, but hey, I love the sport. They did the best. I would stretch, repeatedly, ice, eat certain core workouts just to get out there.
Okay.
Practice, after practice. And I missed 2 games once because of my back. Playing Miami is when they had The Rock, Warren Sapp, Ray Lewis, Toretto was gone. Playing them, Cole, Dave, Rutgers. I went to get in a stand.
Was Will Valdez on that team too?
Oh, no, I'm a little older than Will.
Oh, you are? Okay.
When I was leaving college, he was coming in.
Oh, okay. All right.
So, unfortunately, I just felt the pain from the sharp pain I couldn't move. And then it's like, I had to shut it down for a few weeks. That was, tough. But, we wound up going. I came back against DC. And game was winding down, was tied 7-7. They threw an out route. I stepped in front of it. Broke a couple of tackles. And hey, sometimes being small don't hurt. And running down the sideline, they thought I stepped out, but my left foot was in. My right foot went out of bounds, up in the air, came back down inbounds, and I'm off to the races.
Wow.
They started blowing a whistle saying he stepped out. Okay.
Well, see, if there was a replay back then, you would have had a touchdown. Yeah.
Exactly. It's funny, later on, I saw myself on ESPN. It was all long calls of Rutgers and Boston College. And I was like, I got on ESPN for a hot second. And it was cool. And we wound up tying 7-7. And that year, we wound up going 5-1. And of course, hey, we still might get a chance for a bowl, but we didn't get it.
Right.
We lost to Pitt my last game as a collegiate football player, and I sat there on the bench, and I was just like, wow, this will be the last time I'm going to put on a helmet and shoulder pad. And that was the longest walk to a locker room I've ever had.
Okay, and you knew it was over, that was it, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, people like, oh, you didn't try to Canadian League and all of that. I was like, look, with my medical chart, hey, this chart too heavy. I'm 5'9" and have a bad back. Nobody wanted that. So nice feet, good footwork, but the back can flare up at any moment. If I'm a free agent, you're going to be a free agent. You're going to be the healthiest free agent.
Right. Okay, so your football career was over. What did you know right away that you wanted to be a teacher and a coach?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Okay, go ahead. Tell me.
I tell when I did get into education and coaching, I always tell young people, please have a plan while you get to your college or midway through your freshman summer. You have a plan for an exit strategy when you graduate. You want to have that plan because it will set you up for life better, I believe,
Okay.
just graduating. My mom was an educator in Jersey City School District for 41 years, and even at the time.
Is that true? Really? I never knew that. Where'd she teach?
Longest tenure at 34 school for like 35 or 41 years.
Wow. Okay.
Oh yeah, and she sat me down. She said, "Look, let's not talk all this. You going to the NFL?" She said, "Let's talk about life after school." And she said, "I'm an educator." She said, "I think you'll be a perfect gym teacher. You can be a gym phys ed teacher. You can coach sports." And she told me all the benefits of being a teacher and how it benefited her and our family and all of the other stuff. But you're 18, you're like, yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Then I get out of school, and 3 years later, guess who's teaching? Me. Who's back in school? Who's kind of teaching?
Okay.
And I have no regrets. When I say having a plan, I sit back and watch now. I knew I wanted to coach.
Okay.
I was just thinking at the high school level. And I tell kids, I have blinders on. You have to have a broad vision of the world. Don't just put blinders on like, oh, this is it. Look at all aspects. Because if I did, I would have went to grad school somewhere, become a grad assistant, and continue to climb the ranks in college and league in the NFL.
Okay.
Because I miss coaching. I enjoy coaching. I miss it. But can't do it.
Right. No, but you did it for a while. So where was your first assignment as a teacher in Jersey City?
Oh wow! The first place I went, I was a sub, probably DS-41.
Okay.
And when I became, since I be traveling from school to school, and a lot of the principals like me, because I work hard. I'm from the area. I speak the truth to the kids. Some of the kids I might have went to school with their brother, sister, aunt, cousin, and it just felt natural.
Okay.
And two principals pulled me to the side from PS5 to PS9, and they said, "Keith, why don't you go back to school and get certified in teaching? We like what we see as a sub." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I started the process. Then I left education for a while, for 2 years, but I missed it.
What did you do for those 2 years?
I worked at a communication company, Nextel, that was in Rutgers.
Okay.
Corporate accounts department. And it was great. I learned a lot, and that's when computers was really starting to run the business.
Okay.
And I was learning that, but then that itch to coach started to come back.
All right.
And so I went back to school and got that, and even my supervisor there was like, "Okay, Keith, we understand." And the company wound up moving and going to Virginia anyway, and I was teaching.
Yeah. All right. So you now right away you were teaching as a sub, or did you get a full-time position while you were working to get your certification?
I was a full-time teacher. My first place was Snyder.
Oh, really? Okay.
We have a couple of openings. I was like, Ferris, they were like, no. I was like, oh, I can't go home.
Okay.
So they said, Snyder. I was like, all right, let's go. And Bruce Dabney was the principal there.
All right.
So I went to Snyder, Dabney. Keith, I haven't seen you in a while. And it's funny, he was the commentator of one of the high school games when I was a senior.
That's right. We probably did games together, Bruce and I, for beautiful City 3. Those were great games, right? Yeah, that's going back. Go ahead.
Yeah. And I started my tenure there teaching, and I really enjoyed Snyder. Snyder was great.
Mm-hmm.
Snyder was a great place to teach. The staff was great. I enjoyed the kids there.
And were you an assistant coach then at Snyder too, or no?
No, when I first went back, I didn't. When I first went back, I went right back to Ferris to coach.
Oh, you went back to Ferris to coach. Okay.
I went there, then I started coaching.
Was Coach Lerner still there?
No, Joe Blasucci was.
Oh, Joe Blasucci was. Okay, all right.
But then he left. He retired.
Right.
I started teaching started coaching at Snyder under Eric Piccolo for a couple of years.
Okay.
And then when Pick left, I became head coach.
Right.
Not the most successful tenure. And then I look back at it, I felt I was ready, but going through it, I wasn't ready. I should have had a few more years as an assistant.
Okay.
To really put my position. I thank you for the opportunity and it was time to go.
Yeah.
And then, it's funny, I got the Coleman changed my life. Because I owe a lot to the guy. I'm at the top 100, one of my players, God bless his soul, Lou Taglieri comes up to me.
Okay.
Lou's a great guy.
Great,
He
man.
looks at me, he said, hey, KP, what's going on with you? I heard you leave us tonight. I said, yeah, man, it's just not working out. And he said, hey, I know who's hired. I said, who? He said, Richie. I looked and said, Richie, who? Hanson? I said, nah, he don't need me. He got it done. He said, nah, they just lost the receivers coach, blah, blah, blah. I said, this might have been a Friday. I said, I called Richie on Monday. 10 minutes later, tags come up to me and say, here, there's a phone. And Richie says, KP, what's going on? Because I'll tell you, Jim, one of them was in him when I was a senior in high school. Like, look, our weight room is not sufficient enough to prepare Keith for college. So I have to live that summer.
Uh-huh.
We was at a baseball game or something. Hanson looks at me and looks at Coach. And Coach is like, we'd like to see Keith use the weight room, blah, blah, blah. Hanson looks at me. He said, I said, I have a question for you, Price. Are you serious about the weight room? I said, yes. He said, because I know I am, and so are my players. You're more than happy to come down to prep at any time you want. And I love it.
Wow.
And Jim, for 4 years, I went to St. Peter's Prep on spring. Any break I was home, I would call Coach Hanson, or I would just show up to prep and say something and say, hey, Coach, these are the days I can cut my yard. This your weight room open. He said, KP, you want to welcome.
Wow.
And I went down there, and I tell you just how bright I am. He's the first person to offer me a coaching job.
Wow, okay.
And I said to him, I said, Coach, I really appreciate it, but I tell you what, I want to go back to Ferris because the things that I'm learning, I learned in college. I know you're teaching here at prep, and I know it's not being done in my high school. He looks at me, he said, I admire that.
Okay.
And then, with the top 100, he called me, he said, look, I need to see this coach. You ready? I said, all right, Coach, I'll see you on Monday. And I went down there, we talked philosophy, he showed me what was going down in prep, and that was in 07.
Okay.
2007. And I had a great run. I mean, one of the best times of my coaching career.
Well, that was 2007. They won the state championship, didn't they? Right?
Nah, I missed that one.
Oh, okay. Oh, that was 2006. Okay, 2007 is when they got beat by Bosco. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Had Will Hill.
Yep.
Look, I can only tell about players that I've seen in my era of when I played to coaching, and if he's not in the top 5 all around football players come out of Hudson County, I don't know who he is.
He's number one. Never mind top 5. He's number 1. He is clearly the best. He's the best one I ever saw,
I mean, because to watch him on offense, defense, special teams, and how natural it was to him.
Yep. And never mind offense. Who cares what he was offensively? He was unbelievable as a defensive player. He covered the field better and faster than any other human being alive. He really did. Yeah, he was amazing to watch. So. Yep. All right. So how many years did you stay at prep?
I stayed at prep for 4 years.
Okay.
And I didn't want to leave, but I wanted to go back to get my master's. And my wife was also, she began the doctoral program.
Okay.
And at the time we had a 4-year-old, and she was pregnant.
All right. So now before we go on further, what's your wife's first name?
Her name is Okaikor.
What? Oh.
Her father's from Ghana. Her mom was from Florida.
Oh, okay.
So she has the name.
Oh, okay. All right. I apologize. Well, I thought your father-in-law was Keith Davis.
Yeah, that's stuff. His wife adopted my daughter. She adopted my wife after mom passed. She adopted her or something.
Oh, okay. All right. Because I was going to say, I had Keith Davis as my guest on the podcast just a couple of weeks ago, and now you're on. So I figured, it's all in the family. So okay.
That family, especially that man, upbringing.
Yeah, he's incredible. He really is, and I love him dearly. So all right. So anyway, so your wife encouraged you to go back to go get your master's and get your certification to become an administrator.
Well, yeah, she was talking about it, but she already had hers. She said, "Look, I'm trying to get this doctoral degree," and she was pregnant. I said, "You know what? I'm gonna do it." I talked with Coach Hansen, and he said, I understand progress," and I had to step back because it was just too much. She was pregnant. She was teaching and doing doctoral program. I couldn't coach and do what I was doing in the master's program and have a 4-year-old.
Right.
And I tell you what, I miss coaching so bad. I would go down to prep from time to time just when I could, but then I had to pull away. Richie was all over the place. Coach, I can't, because I'm not here all the time.
Right.
You know, and he said the door was always open, but you know, I had to step away. Then when I finished, the position came open at Lincoln. I'm like, I'm gonna throw my hat in. I guess I don't know. And I threw my hat in and got it. I was like, my principal called me. He's like, I was expecting like to congratulate you. I'm like, congratulate me on what? Because I didn't hit you out about I ain't thinking about the Lincoln position. AD, I said, I got it. She said, yeah. I'm like, get out of here. She's like, Miss Stokes, nice to meet you. She's like, yeah, you're good. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Is that Corey Stokes' mom? No, right?
No, this is on or relative.
Yeah, I know they're related. I know they're related somehow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now, how excited were you to become an athletic director at that time, and get into inheriting an athletic program that had a lot of good athletes, and more importantly, a lot of good coaches, and it seemed like it was a perfect place for you to go to work.
Yeah, it was. You know, Jim, it was. I didn't know the history of Lincoln. You know, I just knew playing against them because there were guys that lived in Arlington Gardens with me that played for Lincoln or right down the street on Randolph or around the corner.
Right.
So going there, I knew they
and if Jeff Weiner had his way, you would have went there. See? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
I definitely would have went there. But you know, people like, oh man, you got there, you winning and chip. I said, look, I just came along at the right time. I just tried to help the coaches and the kids in the school do what was right. And, you know, I just right time, right place. That's the best way I could put it.
Okay. And what year was that, Keith?
I got there in October 2011.
2011. Wow. It's been 10 years already. God. Wow. Time flies.
I know.
Time flies. Okay. So. All right. So, talk a little bit about the challenges that you have as an have encountered as an athletic director. Has it been a tough go to keep your finger on the pulse of all the different teams and programs that you have?
Yeah, at times, it came like any other job. They had its ups and downs. You know, trying to get kids to come out for sports. You know, with so much going on in the world today, and even when I first started. With social media and, you know, kids having more responsibilities, some rather work and go play ball or, you know, you don't see a lot of kids that's hungry.
Right. No, they're not. No, they're not.
They're not hungry because so many things are given to them or, you know, they don't push themselves.
Yeah.
You know, how many times you can drive around Jersey City to see empty basketball courts in the 70, 80 degrees outside?
That bothers me to no end. To no end to see empty schoolyards and not seeing kids playing like it used to be when we were kids. I mean, it bothers me to no end, you know. Or better yet, seeing the backboard with no rim on it. I mean, you know, and they wonder why basketball in Jersey City has gone down, and that's the single reason why is that they've taken down rims in the courtyards where everybody was born and raised. We're in the courtyards. Although they're making a little bit of a comeback. I mean, if you drive by Berry Lane Park, you get to see people playing ball there all the time. There's a park up in the Heights that you get to see people play. So it's coming back, but it's not nearly as much as it was when, say, I don't know, in the 70s and 80s. It was like every schoolyard was filled with little kids, and unfortunately that's a sad testament to what the school systems are going through right now. So, but anyway, talk a little bit about one of your coaches just texted me as we started recording here. Billy Zasowski is your basketball coach, boys basketball coach.
Yes.
Is a good friend. You got Tommy Best as your girls coach. You got Robert Hampton, who was my second guest on the podcast when I started this last year. Right. So and he's somebody who I absolutely totally respect. So you got some great coaches that are in your building, and you got some great athletes too. And girls basketball has dominated over the last couple of years. The basketball team has done pretty well. The football team has been the best Jersey City public school team for the last decade, I'm going to say. So what is it like to be able to work with these good athletes and see them excel? And more importantly, if they get a chance to move on to the next level, we're going to get a chance to, Frank Darby is now probably going to be part of the NFL draft, and that's got to be something that we can look up to. LaQuinn Walker is now playing at Tennessee Martin, and he's the first Lincoln product to play Division I basketball since Tommy Best in 1979. That's a long time ago.
Yeah,
All right.
When Billy told me that, and I'm okay, and Hampton, I tell you what, he's like a Lincoln historian when it comes to sports.
Absolutely. Oh, he's not only Lincoln historian, he's a historian. Period. You ask him about the 1969 Mets, he knows every single thing about them. So
Exactly.
Right.
He's like, yeah, that's right. I'm like, holy smoke, and that's a testament to Billy and LaQuinn working hard, help the kids get recruited. And Hamp works hard, Tyler works hard to get recruited. And I tell the kids, and they're like, oh, I'm surprised. I said, well, I'm from around the corner of Arlington Gardens in downtown. Even when I first started telling kids, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
that's it.
I said, it makes me feel proud if I see you leave here, graduate, get it, or go to trade school, get a business, start something, and you're being successful. And if I play 1/10 of what you're doing, one word of encouragement, I'm happy.
Yep.
I said, it ain't about me, it's all about you. I want to, and I need to see you happy. Because I'm good after that.
Yeah, no, that's all you need to do. That's all you need to do as an educator and as an administrator is all you have to do is see your kids excel and move on to the next level. And if they could do that, wow, like especially from the inner city, from where Lincoln is located, and a lot of things happen in Jersey City that shouldn't be happening. But lately there's been a lot of positive things that have been coming out of Lincoln High School, and there's a lot of reasons to be proud. And it starts with the athletic director who has got his finger on the pulse of everything that's going on. He's doing a phenomenal job. And but by now, although Ferris is in your heart, Lincoln is in your veins, and it must be really exciting to be part of what Lincoln High School is doing athletically over the last couple of years.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's a great ride. It's a great ride. As long as I do my part to make sure the coaches and the kids are good and things are running smooth, I sit back in the back. I sit in the background and just watch.
Okay.
When the girls win championships and then Miss Price gave the picture, I'm like, yeah, I'm all right. I'll get the picture. I'll get the picture, then I'll go get the picture. I don't need accolades. I just want to see the team and the kids prosper, and I'm good.
Okay. All right, so tell me a little bit about your family. How many children do you have? And let's mention them all, and so they can get to hear Daddy. Daddy said my name on the podcast. Go ahead.
Sure. I'm married to a wonderful woman by the name of Dr. Price.
Okay. And where does she work? She works in the Jersey City school system too?
Oh no, she used to work in the school system. Now she has a whole small business that she's doing right now.
Okay.
She's doing pretty well, even though during this COVID.
Okay.
She's a staunch activist.
Okay.
Educational. Savant, I call her.
No, educational savant. I like that title. That's not a bad thing to put on a business card. Educational savant. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very proud of her.
Good. All right. And how many kids do you have?
I have two. I have a 13-year-old daughter by the name of Sage Price.
Sage. Okay. And
And my son.
she's what, in 8th grade?
Yeah, she's an 8th grader this year.
Okay. And where will she go to high school next year? Do you know yet?
Not sure.
Okay.
Not even sure.
All right.
And then I have a 9-year-old son by the name of Caden Price.
Caden. And is he a little athlete?
Yeah, they both of them play sports in the fall. They do soccer. Winter, they do basketball. Springtime, my son will play lacrosse. And in spring, my daughter will do soccer and softball.
Wow. Your son plays lacrosse, huh? Wow. That's interesting. Yeah. Okay.
He's been playing. He's been playing since he was 6.
Does he like the fact that he can take his stick and hit people with it? No. Okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But he's been telling my wife and I that I gotta play football.
Ah, there it goes. It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Mr. White.
Yeah. Your wife might not want that, but it's coming. So.
Yeah.
All right. So to sum it all up, Keith, you got to be really blessed in the fact that you've been able to have such a great life, and it all stems around athletics. And you like you said, you come from Arlington Gardens, and you made it all the way to play college football at Rutgers, and you now have a successful job as an athletic administrator. You got to say to yourself, "Wow, I'm pretty fortunate."
Oh yeah, I think I pray every morning, every night, and I thank him for the opportunity that he's bestowed upon me. And I'm just grateful. I'm still young. There are other things.
Relatively young. Relatively young.
I'll be 49 next month.
God bless. 49.
Yeah. So.
See, and I remember you when you were 16, so we've known each other for a long time, buddy. A long time. Okay.
But there are other things I would like to accomplish professionally and personally. So, I still got room to grow. Not height-wise, though.
Yeah. No, those days are gone, unfortunately. Those are gone. Yeah. So, well, Keith, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me today. This was a great trip down memory lane, and hopefully it serves as a little bit of an inspiration to kids, especially in Jersey City, that can, that look at your life and say, you know what, maybe I could do what Mr. Price was able to do because I could be just like him. So, and I firmly agree that you serve as an inspiration to a lot of kids because of who you are, and more importantly, your personality and your perseverance. The both of them that shine, and you are really truly a joy to be around. And it was my pleasure to have you with me today. So, Keith, thank you so very much for sharing your story with us.
Oh, Jim, I really appreciate it. Like I said, we've known each other for a long time, and like I'll tell kids from day one, hey, I'm doing okay. I said, I want you to do better than me.
Yep.
Do better than me. You better than me. I'm happy.
That's the most important thing. All right? And
focus and have positive people around. Get rid of the negative people.
Yeah. Amen on that. We had too much negativity going around lately where we got to go, step forward towards positivity, especially like President Biden said the other day, and that young poet laureate, boy, oh boy, she was phenomenal. Yep. So, Keith, thanks so very much for taking the time with me today. We will obviously keep in touch, and best of luck with the COVID crisis. I know it hasn't been easy, but you persevering, and the basketball season is going to begin very soon. So I appreciate you taking the time, and let's keep everybody safe and healthy and happy, and I hope I see you very soon.
You do the same.
All right, Keith. Thanks so very much for taking time. All right, take care of yourself. And that was my special guest, Keith Price, the athletic director at Lincoln High School, who is doing a phenomenal job leading those kids there. And just as a reminder again, the Stansport Center is your local full-service sporting goods vendor and authorized team dealer. They offer quality products and dozens of brands to outfit your team top to bottom. Stans has proudly been supporting the local community since 1946 and is your one-stop shop for uniforms, equipment, and online team stores, and much more. locations in Hoboken and Saddlebrook and servicing the entire tri-state area. Visit them on the web at stansportsctr.com. That's stansportsctr.com. And check them out on social media for their latest creations. That's Stansport Center, 528 Washington Street in Hoboken. Telephone number there is 201-798-4466. And once again, if you mention the Hudson County Sports Podcast at Stan's, you get a 10% discount on all retail items that are in the store. Not a bad deal. Mention this Hudson County Sports Podcast and get a 10% discount down at Stan's Sports Center. And say hello to my friends, Danny and Todd and Louie down at Stan's. They're great, great people. Thanks again for listening to this version of the Hudson County Sports Podcast. A special thanks to my great nephew, Johnny Haig, who is my executive producer, who helped me put this all together. Without him, we wouldn't be the Hudson County Sports Podcast now for over a full year. That's right. We had a year anniversary just recently. So we're doing strong. So thanks so much again for listening, and have a great day, and we'll see you soon.